Just going to make sure this works. I'm going to see if we can get a few people in here. All right, so we've got some folks watching already. So Jack Daniels, apologies everybody who was in here before. What I did, I scheduled an event via the Hangouts kind of option, and then I came back and I hit stream via OBS, which is a different piece of software, and I had it set to private by accident, so it wasn't working for anyone. Man, sorry about that, guys. I've just moved into this other room to do the streams from here. I've got it worked out now, so fingers crossed. The picture quality looks good, the sound quality looks good, or sounds good, I should say, and everything's working. It looks okay. It looks a little bit yellow, but other than that, it should be good. So we've got Captain Kills, greetings from the Netherlands. How are you, man? We've got Ron. It's a bit of deja vu for me. This, I just said hi to everyone before and it wasn't working. So we've got Ong, how are you? Jason as well from Bathurst. How you doing? Cool. All right, yeah, so sorry about that. It's all working. I was rambling on, and then I saw all the sad faces come up saying, hey, it's not working, what's going on? So I just wanted, before I say and give shout outs to everybody, what I want to do is just have a quick chat about the giveaway. I've had so many people ask me about it recently, and yeah, I see it everywhere now, so I just want to be clear on what's going on. So the first giveaway has been won. The pedals already arrived to the guy in the US as well. And he won it because he noticed this poster here in one of my videos in this particular room. Now, this will be the only room where one of the posters will change into something as random and as out of place as that. So it won't be some sort of music poster. It'll be the exact opposite of that. So if you see something that doesn't fit any musical theme, a few people have said this Wales poster up the top here, which is a little bit out of shot right now, but that particular poster is actually a JJ Grey one. He's, a band. So it's going to be as random as that. If you spot something that just doesn't fit the theme at all and it's just crazy, it's basically something without earthy colors, then you're going to be a winner. So, and what the second giveaway will be is the Versus Audio they want to get in on the giveaway. So they're going to be giving away an Operation Trinity distortion pedal, which is made in Greece. It's a killer. So yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up, and one person will win that. So it'll only be in this room. It'll be as random a poster as the Dawn of the Dead poster I've got here. So if anyone only watches the first 5 minutes of this, that's the giveaway. So I just needed to clear that up. So all right, yep, it's working. Awesome. Morning from Preston, England. I have a feeling Melbourne, Australia stole all of England's names for towns. We got Kindisk, I think that's how you pronounce that, from Greece. How are you, man? Thanks for dropping in. So I wanted to say, thanks to all the new subscribers. It's been insane this last 7 days. It's just grown exponentially. It's been crazy. I've tried to change things up. I've also been putting a little bit more time and effort into what I'm releasing and how I'm releasing it and all that kind of stuff. So this last 7 days has been the largest growth on everything on my channel in years, or almost years. It might have been the last time it grew this quickly was when I reviewed the Katana and the Mustang GT. So this week's just been enormous. Actually, it's sort of it's actually outpaced that, which is insane. So we're getting 100 subscribers a day, more than that, 120 I got today. So it's super cool. So thanks so much for the support. The content is changing, as you can probably tell. It's going to be a bit more fun, a bit more informative, things that I think I'd want to watch if I was looking into music stuff. And still doing demos, but just, in between the other stuff. And I got lots of other stuff lined up. I've got some of the best content I think I've ever made is coming up as well, so stay tuned for that. All right, we've got hi from Malaysia, hi from Austria, home of the great Arnold Schwarzenegger. We've got Greg, how are you? All right, cool. Anyone having this? I keep losing my connection. My live stream health is green, which means I'm good to go. It doesn't always stay green. It might go yellow occasionally, but right now things are looking good on my side. If there are problems with the stream, please let me know if it's everybody or not, but it looks like I'm uploading fine. I see green, which is good. So I'm going to take some Q&A and tell you a little bit about what's coming up on the channel as well. Take some questions, take some suggestions, all of that. And I've got a list of things I wouldn't mind mentioning as well. So yeah, feel free to ask if anyone has any questions. All right, Mr. Cream, how are you, man? That's Mark. He says, are those new zoom effects on your new videos when you're playing guitar? Hang on. Are those new zoom effects on your new videos when you were playing guitar done in it? That's a weird sentence, but I know what you're saying. So the actual zoom effects on the video, they're done with Final Cut Pro. There's a plugin you can get from a company called Motion Effects. It's free, and it literally is. That's all it does. You can set it to zoom. You can set it to blur. You can set it to kind of go in and turn, or it's called Camrig, C-A-M-R-I-G. It's really cool, but you need basically compatible software. It only works with Adobe and Final Cut. Any experience with Chapman Guitars? I've only seen 2 lefties. Actually, I've seen a few more than that now, but the 2 that I've picked up were extremely heavy. I've never played them, so I don't really know if the tone is something that is good or not, but they feel like good instruments. This is going back maybe a year ago, they felt extremely heavy. I'd like to maybe give them a go and see what I actually think of them. They might make a good review at some point too, so maybe we'll do that. All right, it's working. Yep, no dropouts. Awesome. All right, Lucas says, hey Shane, missed you at GuitCon. Yeah, I just didn't go this year. There was a few reasons why. I've been over that a couple of times, so I'm not against the idea of it. It's a good event. It was better than I expected. I've got to give them credit for that. The only thing I don't like is basically trying to do or doing the same videos that everyone else is doing. You know, just like Gearman Dude, man, like everyone's done a video with Gearman Dude showing you what he looks like. You only really need one, and the Tone King did it first. So yeah, I don't want to be like the 9th guy doing a video with Gearman Dude. I mean, I'd love to meet the guy, but you know what I mean? Like, how much of the same stuff do you want? And I actually spent that week recording, working on an album, and coming up with new things for the channel, and I'm happy I actually did that. So, all right, have I ever tried any of the Gaskell guitars from Down Under? I haven't. I don't know anything about them, actually. That's not a name that I'm too familiar with. I think I've seen it come up maybe once or twice, or maybe on a stream or something like that, but it's not really something I'm too familiar with. The problem with a lot of the Australian builders, and not to belittle them or anything, but they don't kind of get the internet, and they don't get what putting something like that in my hands for video will do, even if I send it back the following day. They don't understand that is beneficial for people, for them, for the business and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Australian gear is the thing I receive least. There's a couple of exceptions, like I've got that, did a video of this the other day, the Anarchy Audio, what's it called? The Gain of Tones. And yeah, Anarchy Audio are one of the few Australian companies that really sort of go, this is in our best interest to get you one of these as soon as we can. All right. All right, I know this is from Jason. He says, I know you love the Royal Flush, but what would you recommend for an all-round overdrive pedal? So something circular that you can, so what I would probably recommend is trust your ears on what you like. There's no all-round overdrive pedal. You're either talking about basically one of 3 types of sounds. Tube Screamer, which rolls off your top end, rolls out your low end and boosts your mids for that sort of warm lead, sort of old school sound. A Blues Driver-ish kind of pedal, which is more of a neutral kind of EQ. It doesn't really spike anyway. It's got a bit of tops, but it's basically flat. You don't lose a lot of low end, don't gain a lot of top end at unity. It doesn't EQ out anything, basically. Well, you might be looking for something that's a bit more modern sounding, but the Royal Flush is great because it's kind of like, it gives you more mids, but it doesn't take away from your top end. I really like that in the pedal. There's millions of them out there as well. It just depends on how much you want to spend. I can't really give you this one pedals will do exactly what you want because I don't know what sound you like, but my suggestion is listen to as many things as you can, pick the one that you think will suit your sound and playing the best. There's no one overdrive pedal does all. There's one that's very, very close, in my opinion. In terms of the dual overdrives, the Royal Flush is great. Actually, I'm really digging this, not because they sent one out, but because it's actually pretty cool. A lot of the people seem to like the green channel more than the red channel, I think, on this one. But the Carrera Buffalo Effects pedal is really good too. It's kind of like a Tube Screamer, but it's better. It gives you more tops and more lows. So that's kind of like neutral in some ways, but it definitely has a prominent mid hump, and it sounds super steely. So it's all subjective to what you like. All right, I just got back my amp from the shop under warranty, the infamous Blues Junior 3. Man, I don't know what Fender are doing with their amps. Nearly 20 of them in one shop all had rattles or hums. Rick and I filmed a video of us messing around with one of the, what was it, a deluxe reverb. And the speaker was so noisy, like it was going, like buzzing, not a mechanical noise, but it was just buzzing. You put your hand on the back and it stopped. You take your hand off and it buzzed again, man. And then there were others that had, like, the Blues Juniors are notorious now. They've got really dodgy reverb tanks. And the, what are they called? The bass breaker amps, man. I haven't played one that works properly. They either hiss really bad or they rattle really badly as well. Shocking. All right. Hey there, Shane. Nice to see you live. I recently saw your video telling us. Oh, thanks, man, on Instagram. So, yeah, I posted a video up on Instagram before. That's the first time I think I've done that where I've, like, said, hey, I'm going to be live on YouTube. I don't know why I don't think of that more. All right, what's my most favorite guitar that I own? I don't know. Look, if I had to pick one that I just had to keep, it would most likely be this one. Just because it's great. I love it. I don't know what else to say about it. Everyone's seen this a million times. I really, really love it. Tone and feel, and I've had the frets fixed and redone on here. They've got 6105s. It feels great to play. This would be the guitar that I could pretty much, like, I don't need another Telecaster because I've got this, you know, and that's one of those really cool things. Like a traditional Tele anyway. I'm loving this. This is a Little Crow Raven. It's got Australian-made pickups by Briley Pickups. Unbelievable tone. I'm going to be releasing a video in the next couple of days. I think in maybe 3 days from now. Going over the recording process. You know, how we go about recording our band, or a album, I should say, when the time comes. So it's going to go over how we track the drums, vocal stuff, guitar parts, rhythm guitar, lead bits, and I'm going to compile them into like 3 10-minute videos. So the first one should be up, I think, in a few days from now, which is cool. All right, 650 Thunderbird says, listening while working on a guitar. Awesome. These kind of streams are really good because you don't really need to be at the computer. You can kind of just, or phone or whatever. You can put the phone in your pocket or wherever and just listen. I do that a lot with live streams. I like to do stuff sometimes while I'm watching them, unless it's when, you know, some of the other guys in the US go live and I'm like just waking up. I'll just watch it on my phone because I'm too lazy. All right, so Captain Kill says, I have a problem. When trying new guitars, I discovered that I could not hear a difference in sound even when trying them through different amps. Any tips on how I should listen to the sound? Okay, so I did a video about 2 years ago, give or take. I'm losing reference of time. So I did a video where I took 7 guitars that were all different. P90s, humbuckers, single coils, Strat, Tally, Gibson, all that kind of stuff. And I played them through a dirty amp and they all sounded the same. you could not tell them apart. Being able to tell these guitars apart comes down to more about when they're clean more than anything. And if you're playing through different amps, you're going to hear the guitars the way that they would sound, pretty much. If the amp's good, you're going to hear subtle differences, but I think what you might not be too familiar with is EQ. So maybe my suggestion is go over to the amp, turn the mids all the way up, turn the mids all the way down, and hear the difference between that. If you can't hear the difference between, say, the mids on 10 and 0, either maybe you have some hearing problems, I don't know, but maybe you're just not too familiar with EQ and tone and sound, and that's fine. It was something I was totally oblivious to for years, and then I started understanding, like, oh, this control does that. Now I can hear this. You know, I remember even the first time I heard a bass player live, I went, oh, that's bass. You know, like when I was younger, I was like, I didn't realize that's what that was. It's its own instrument. So it was an instrument I just didn't really hear until I saw it, and I went, ah, that's what that does. So it all comes down to the way you play too. Most people who have a style can pull that style out on anything, and that's just the way that it goes. One of my favorite players, Chris Kane here, who I met recently, he plays a 335 normally, and a Les Paul, and sometimes a Flying V when he feels like it, but there's videos of him recently playing a single coil Telecaster, and it'd be like B.B. King playing a Strat, right? It's so weird. But you shut your eyes, man. It's Chris Kane playing guitar. Hey, Ben. How are you, man? All right. So Conan says, or Conan, sorry if I mispronounced that, says, hi, Shane. What do you think of the Orville Black Beauty? I think Orville guitars are awesome. I don't know that specific one, like the one that you're talking about. I know of it, but I would check it, make sure the frets are good. That would be my first thing. Some of these older Japanese guitars that have been played to death need new frets. It's pretty common. I see that a lot. One of my good friends trades a lot of guitars. He's been stung a couple of times trading guitars with really, really worn frets. So just keep an eye on the frets, make sure that's cool. Check the headstock, make sure it hasn't been glued back together or anything like that. You should be in business. Orville guitars are great. And any of these Japanese guitars are always much, much better to buy secondhand or used. So you'll save a fortune. If you haven't seen my video on the top 5 guitars that lose their value as soon as you buy them or whatever it is, check that video out too. How often do I break a string? Very, very, very infrequently. Almost never. The only time I break strings is if I get a guitar sent to me, which isn't very often, and there's a problem with the nut and I need to just either file it a little bit or put some of that carbon fiber pencil, like a gray lead pencil in there. But it happens very, very infrequently. I have a few people surprised I'm live. Yeah, I'm trying a totally different time of the day today. And this was a time that worked really well. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this tonight in here with this new setup. Well, not a new setup, but kind of a new setup. So I don't break strings hardly ever. The only time I'll break them is if I haven't changed them for a long time, months. I used to change them before every gig, and now that I'm not playing gigs as often, I pick up the guitar that generally has the freshest feeling strings on it. That's the way I go for it. So I'm getting in more of a habit now to keep my YouTube guitars, the ones that I will use most of the time, like these 4 back here, with pretty fresh strings. And they generally won't go past the 3-month mark. If it goes past that with my sort of sweaty hands when I play, I'll break them more often than not past that point. But it very rarely happens, unless I'm doing seriously big bends. All right, we've got Devin here. How are you, man? So, all right, so I got asked the best Strat under $1,500. So if you're talking about $1,500 in Australia, that won't buy you a Mexican Strat. No, it will now, thankfully. So it depends where you live, because prices here are very different to prices overseas or whatever. My first instinct would say the Baja Telecaster. Oh, you said Strat or Tele? Sorry, hang on, let me have a look. I said Strat, sorry, man. So in terms of Teles, though, I had that in my hand. I would probably say the Baja Telecaster. In terms of Strat, I don't know, man. I reckon the Mexican stuff's pretty good value. Like, I paid like $900 for that, which is ridiculous compared to some places around the world. But I love it. It's such a great sounding guitar. You know, that top 5 video I did recently of the Strat, I think it looks beautiful. It sounds great. It doesn't have any like unnecessary features on it. It's just a bog standard Strat. You're getting single coil pickups that sound good, a nice neck, it's finished well, and just none of the gold hardware stuff. It's just nice and simple. I like that. All right. Morning. This is from Robert. Fender GTs and a Boss Katanas. Just got the V2 updates. Any thought? All right. So 2 things. The Katana is a great amp. If I had to suggest someone to buy one or the other, being the Mustang or the Katana, I would tell them to buy the Katana in a heartbeat. I'm not saying the Mustangs aren't for everybody, but I hear that the new firmware, I get this nearly every week. Hey, the new firmware update does this. And I'm like, hey, Rick, how's the new firmware update? He goes, it sounds the same. So I'm going to do a video on that coming up as well. I'm going to borrow a few. Actually, I've got 2 things I want to borrow off Rick. I'm not going to spoil the other one. I've done the thumbnail already and it looks beautiful. So and I say that in a joking way. You might notice my thumbnails are changing too. They're a little bit more interesting to look at. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I've been trying to improve stuff, and I think these 2 reviews that I'll be doing won't be next week, unfortunately, but the week after, hopefully, should be pretty funny. So I'm gonna try some different stuff. But what do I think of it? I think the Katana's a great amp. Can't go wrong. A mate of mine's got one. Look, the Mustang, you can use it live. It's not as usable as the old ones, and that's what disappointed me about it. All right, Isaac says, yeah, the prices for Fenders went down in the guitar stores where I live. Thanks, Shane. Good, they should. They shouldn't have been as expensive as they were. What are they putting $1,500 retail on a Mexican Strat? What a bunch of pricks. Things cost you like $4.99 or $4.70 in the States. All right. All right, what gauge strings do I use? I usually use 11 to 48s, I think it is. Diodarios or whatever I can get cheap, but that's kind of the preferred gauge. Rocket Ride says, I'm taking a tour of the Gibson factory in Memphis in 2 weeks. Have you taken any factory tours? What part was the most interesting? That sounds cool, man. That'd be an awesome tour. I've been to 2 factories in Australia, but I haven't been actually given it like a full-blown tour. I've just been able to look around, which probably doesn't really count. And they were acoustic guitar companies here in Australia. Yeah, I don't really know if I've been to any like major brand factories. Might be kind of interesting. But yeah, if I ever do go, I'll bring my video camera. So that'll be fun. All right, this is from William. It says, hi Shane, nice to see you alive. I recently saw a video of you telling us the sad state of affairs of amps in Australia. Have you tried the Vox NT115C1? It's a compact version of the AC15. I think that's kind of like more square. Is that one? Let me have a look. I can't bring this up on screen right now because I'm doing this a different way, but NT1, oh, the Night Train. Yeah, okay. So they're a very different amp to the AC series. They sound completely different. They're almost more like they got more distortion, and they're a bit more of a modern sound. But you know, that's perfect for people who like that sort of stuff. Hi Shane, looking for a good portable clean combo for sometime in the near future. I love the deluxe reverb, but the inner gear nut wants to know if deluxe reverb alternative. Is there an alternative to the deluxe reverb for small, low sort of volume amps? It depends really. Like there are, like Brian, my friend Brian, who you probably know too actually, he's got a Fuchs that kind of does the same thing, but they're way more expensive, and I don't honestly believe they're as good. You could go for a Supersonic, might be, you know, Fender Supersonic, same sort of thing. Vibrolux, be another sort of choice around that wattage and power and size. You could buy a couple of amp heads that would be lower wattage, but they're kind of around the same sort of thing. Another really great amp that I really like tonally are the Music Man amps. Even the new ones that are made by DV Mark, even though I think they're Indonesian made, and one caught fire when I played it. That was just a bad amp. The rest of them I've played have sounded unreal. So I really like those. If I was ever to get a smaller amp that's like plenty loud and clean, I'd probably go the Music Man. But in terms of a deluxe reverb alternative, yeah, I don't know, man. You probably just want to go for it if that's the sort of sound you want. There's not really anything that's as good as that isn't either a copy of it or... Like Marshall don't make an amp that sounds like that on clean. They just don't. Or whoever. Pick a company. Boogie or any of these other companies. The new firmware doesn't change the cheap speakers, I guess. That's from Robert in regards to the Mustang. Yeah, that's it, man. Those speakers are terrible. I almost thought about like getting one of the 100s and changing the speaker out just to see if it made any difference. But I don't know. I don't really want to blow my money on that. I don't know if that would work out to my favor in the end. So we've got Savvy. We've got welcome in. Monte says, what do I reckon a good but affordable overdrive is for lead use? Oh, with distortion. An affordable one. I mean, there's a million overdrive pedals out there, man. I've got a playlist on my channel called Cheap Overdrive Pedals, I think. It's like 45 videos or 50 videos in there. Best solution is just to go through it and see what you like. I don't really know what music style you play. If anyone has any of these kind of questions, like what's the best overdrive pedal questions, let me know what you play. Like type in the comments, hey, I play blues, or I play rock and roll, or I play, you know, progressive rock or whatever. Let me know what kind of stuff you play. It will help me kind of give you some suggestions. I can't, these are open-ended questions that I can't answer. Because there's too much personal choice involved. And I've had times where I've said, yeah, you'll love this pedal, go get it. And then someone's messaged me on Facebook saying that they hated it. So, because they wanted something that did this. I'm like, well, why didn't you say that in your initial email? So, you know, it's one of those things. All right. Hi, Shane, what will you do for us when you get 100,000 subscribers? I already know what I'm going to do. It's going to be awesome. It's going to take a little bit of organization, but all being well, it's going to work, and it should be pretty wild. It should be pretty wild. So I'm definitely, like I said, I'm doing giveaways every 10,000 subscribers. Between 70 and 80, there's been 2. So one's already been given away, which was for that poster right there. The next one will be another poster will change, or I'll replace, probably take the zombie poster down at some point and put something else up back, or the other one back up there. But I kind of like it. It gets people talking, like, what's with the zombie poster? I'm a horror movie fan. I'm an idiot. All right, here's a good question. In the blues question, if I can get one piece of gear back that I no longer own, what would it be? The answer might surprise you, but it would probably be my deluxe Strat, and not because I like it more than this. This is a much better guitar. Sounds better, plays better, feels better. I wouldn't play the other guitar that I mentioned at all because I've got that. I like that so much more. But there was a sentimental thing about that guitar that I really miss. I just miss seeing it in the cupboard. means I'm never going to play it, but I don't miss my gold top. I don't miss a lot of the guitars I've had. It would either be that or it'd be one of my Epiphones that I had in the early days. That was a really great Epiphone. It was kind of helped shape my sound. And it'd be one or the other. But I didn't really... The neck, everything about that deluxe Strat I shouldn't like, but it was a classic and classy looking instrument. So I don't know, maybe that one. I don't miss like pedal. I don't get that attached to stuff either. So if I don't use something for a while, I generally feel like I could get rid of it and not regret it. And that's how I am like 99% of the time. I think I have sold a few things out of financial burden, like trying to do my own thing and not making as much money as I normally would. So I'd be like, all right, I just got to move some stuff. Yeah, in terms of pedals, I'm pretty comfortable with decisions I've made on that, but maybe one or two guitars at some point. We've got Pablo from LA. How are you, man? Pablo Bobatti. That's an awesome name. I like it. All right, what do I think about the Marshall DSL-5C? I didn't like it at all. I tried that amp years and years ago, but I tried it through a silent, like a isolation cabinet, basically, when I did the recording, and it sounded like Mush City. Or mush, however you want to pronounce that. It just didn't sound great to my ear. I had 100 people say, oh, you got to use it through a 12-inch speaker and all this kind of stuff. So I'd like to try that again and see how we go. All right, got to go. Bye, Shane. Catch you later. Thanks for joining in on. I appreciate that. Yeah, good to see some people here. That's awesome. All right, so before we take some more questions, we've got about 25 minutes left. I'm going to just go over some stuff. So I mentioned earlier that the channel is sort of going crazy this last week, which has been great. So I'm doing a whole series of like top 5 kind of videos like that. I've done about 6 already. I've only released a few, and I wanted to get some input on things you might like to see. And I've already got some really great ideas for videos. I've had people on Facebook message me about what they'd like to see in a top 5 video. And I'm open to suggestions. I think this is how the channel gets better. So if you have an idea for a video, I recently did one called the top 5 guitars that don't hold their value or something similar like that. So things that might be a little bit out of the ordinary that you think, hey, this might make a good video. So that's the plan. I have a list of these on my computer here about this long. And I'm not going to like spam them out every day, but I'll probably release 1 or 2 of them a week. I just think they're kind of interesting and a bit more fun as well. So if you have any suggestions for stuff you'd like to see on the channel, video-wise, content-wise, all that kind of thing, please let me know in this video, and I'll copy and paste it into this little text thing I got here, and we should be good to go. Seeing a list of Flying V users would be cool. Flying Vs are awesome. Actually, that was a guitar that I had that I probably didn't keep long enough. So I had a Flying V very, very briefly. It was an amazing sounding guitar. It's one of the first lefties that I ever found in a Gibson. And the thing about it was, though, it had this finish on the neck. The neck felt like, you know how like if you run your hand over a tree, it's kind of like not smooth. It's smooth, but it's not. It's kind of got like a lot of texture and all that kind of stuff. They didn't like completely sand the neck down or finish it. It was kind of like a dry, bumpy finish. I don't know what to call it. It was weird. But yeah, it was the first guitar that I realized I couldn't actually sit and play. I was like, oh man, I'm too short for this guitar. But tone-wise, man, the Flying Vs are so cool. Yeah, I've made a note of that. Top 5 guitar accessories under $25. It's a great idea. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. These are fun videos for me to do, and very different as well. This is something I wanted to mention as well. You notice my thumbnails have been changing. Check out this. I used this when I was at Jerry's Lefty Guitars this year. He had one of these, and it was arguably the best video camera I've ever used. Like it's a DSLR style, right? But it's a video camera essentially. And all my new thumbnails have been with this, and they look way, way better. So you'll probably, not all of my videos have used this that have come up recently, but some have. All the top 5 videos, I'm pretty sure I've been using this as the actual camera that would have this view on. So you'll probably notice the picture quality and color detail and all that. Not that that stuff matters too much, but you should notice a visual improvement, say from this camera, this is my old one, to this particular beast here. So yeah, things are moving along. Do I have any thoughts on Monterey guitars? I could be wrong, but I have a feeling they're like, are they inexpensive guitars? I'm pretty sure they're like kind of cheapish. I see them at, actually, I just Googled it. They're at JB Hi-Fi here, which is like a, you know, an audio visual shop now. It used to be a record store, but looks like they've got some guitars there. I think for a beginner, they'll probably be fine. They're probably somewhere along the same quality as a Samick, or maybe a cheap-ish Yamaha. And I don't mean like the Yamaha Pacificas, maybe like whatever's under them. Yeah, I've definitely seen these basses in person before. I've never played one. I've made the mistake of commenting saying they might not be great before, and people go, hey, I own one, or my brother's got one, and it's awesome. So I haven't actually played one, but I've seen plenty of them in person now that I know it's these guitars. My suggestion is always pick them up, see how they feel. Check the neck, make sure things look okay. See if it holds tune. That would be my first thing. Nothing worse than trying to learn guitar on a guitar that doesn't stay in tune. You won't want to play it. You'll go, this is crap. Like, why am I don't want to play guitar. All I have to do is sit there tuning the guitar every chord. So just make sure it stays in tune. Look, when you're learning, the tone thing doesn't really matter too much. It really doesn't. It's more about learning. It should always be about that, actually. But in the early days of playing, it shouldn't matter too much. And if your budget is 198 Australian dollars like these ones are, you're probably going to struggle to find a guitar for that price that's maybe better, unless you go to like, I've been to some cash converters here in Australia recently where I could get a guitar that's pretty similar to this for about 60. Might be worth checking out some secondhand shops as well. All right, let me open my chat. Now, I've just seen the chat scroll a bit here. Oh, these are great ideas. Thanks, Tim. Tokai Tim, or Tokai Tim. Appreciate that. There's another one. I'll put that one down. That's fantastic. Jason, thanks, says, thanks, Shane. Got a jet. Keep up fantastic work. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. What a beast of a camera. That explains why Jerry's was so good. Yeah, it's a great camera. I'm not going to say I'm like a camera nerd, but I'm getting into knowing more and more about cameras. Every time I think, I'm thinking of upgrading. Like, this camera used to be my main camera for everything. It's a Canon X820. I had 2 of them. I sold my other one recently. Upgraded to 4K cameras, which I can't stream through this box. This is easier to do this anyway with this camera. So I kept one of my old ones just for doing this. I've got 2 4K cameras, and then I did a lot of study on YouTube recently about how to grow the channel and trying new things and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to try some new stuff, and one of the big things I realized I was letting myself down on was the thumbnails. Although my 4K cameras take pretty good photos, this takes amazing photos. It's a fantastic video camera. And actually, like, when I used this, when I was actually at Jerry's, I had my 4K camera and one of his other GH, whatever it was, his other one of these cameras. And this was the best. Out of all of them, this killed them all. And I realized, like, man, maybe I should have just got 2 of these instead of the 2 of these other Sony ones. But they've all got their place, you know. Like, if I'm walking around, I don't really want to take this because it's got good state. Anyway, it's a good camera for certain things. It's always my, like, this shot camera now. I love it. I think it looks really cool. Anyway, I won't bore you with that stuff, but I'm kind of getting into the camera thing. Not that I need more than I've got, I'm done, but I like to learn about them. It's kind of like guitars. We got Nono from France. Hopefully I pronounced that properly, I apologize. Love your channel, thanks for that, man. All right, what is the best vintage Fender amp? Well, one of the ones that's probably one of the most popular would be is it the Tremolux? I think that's what it's called. A mate of mine's got one of those, they're awesome. If you're talking about like 50 stuff, you know, you could go for super reverbs, you could go for Fender Twins. You know, take your pick of the old basement amps, Princeton's. There's just plenty of great old school Fender amps. So I don't know if there's a best. You know, there's never a best guitar player. There's never a best pedal. It's like which one do you like the best? Is the best. It's everyone's opinion. All right, Aravis says, I only use 5 analog pedals with a pretty low milliamp draw. I use a one-spot adapter with daisy chains. Do I think you should invest in a power supply with isolated outputs? No, they're fine. You'll notice that video that I did comparing the $200 pedal board to the $2,000 pedal board yesterday, was it yesterday or this morning that went up? Was all daisy chained with the one spot. So that's all I use. When I do the demos, I use an isolated one because generally my daisy chain is locked down onto my pedal board and I just leave that there. So the isolated power supplies are good, but they're just bulky. So it's another big brick of a thing you got to carry with you. I've never had any loop issues or anything weird with my one spot. I hear some people go, oh, you get this hum and loop. I've never experienced that. So I think they're good. All right. Hey, we got Gregory from North Carolina. It's my bad North Carolina accent. Every time I've been to North Carolina or the airport, Charlotte, is that north or south? North Carolina. I'm pretty sure Charlotte's there, yeah? Anyway, I'm pretty bad with remembering that. I always get that confused. I always love the accents that come over the terminals. You know, it's like unlike anywhere else. It's awesome. All right. Hi, Shane. Have you tried a Greg Bennett guitar? I have. I've actually picked a few of them up. They're not bad for what they are. You know, Samick make them. If you're talking about those particular guitars, I don't know, maybe the Greg Bennett's got a different line, but the Samick Greg Bennett guitars aren't half bad. They're actually not that bad. All right. Pablo says the Fender Showman's a good amp. Cool. Isaac says, I think you left your drink too long. The ice has melted into the drink and now you're left with a watery beverage. How could you? And it's sliding around the table. It actually does that. There's so much condensation under it. I'm just going to wipe it on my pants here. That it's sliding around the table. It's amazing. I went to try to find one of my coasters to put my drink on. I have no idea where that is, where they've gone. So, Simon says, hey Shane, thanks for your honesty, full stop. Hey, no worries, man. What infuriates me is watching people who push stuff that's crap. There's nothing worse than that. I won't be one of those guys. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to give favorable reviews to anything if I don't want to. I never want to be in that position. And yeah, so appreciate that. Cheers. All right. All right, so Conan Destroyer says, hey Shane, can you advise me on a good method of learning blues guitar? My biggest influence is SRV. Yes, so there's two things. I'm just laughing at Rocket Ride's comment under that. It's not making fun of your comment, he's talking about the accents. All right, so the first thing is to start with stuff that's not as hard as Stevie Ray Vaughan. So start simple. I always tell people the DVD that helped me the most learning blues and understanding how licks work and stuff was Matt Smith's Guide to Blues Guitar. It's kind of an old video, but it's great. He'll teach you the fundamentals of the blues, how it works, and then also licks from each of these different players, including Stevie Ray Vaughan ones as well. And he'll teach you how to phrase and all that kind of stuff. That's important. A lot of guys I see try to rip Stevie Ray off. They don't stop playing, and it's really annoying. It's like Stevie on pills played 3 times as fast and with no finesse. So start simple. My suggestion would also be, don't try to imitate him all out. It's been done, and it's been done to death. I don't like listening to Stevie Ray clones unless they're exceptionally good at it, because everyone that does it nowhere near as good. So take parts of that playing and mix it up with some stuff that you love from other players, and you'll have a sound that's unique. And that's what made Stevie unique. He had, the Jimi Hendrix influence mixed with the Albert King influence, and then he created that sound out of that. He took a lot of licks from these guys, but he still came up with his own sound, whether it be like songwriting thing or his solo approach was different to both of the guys in the end. So don't just play one guy's style. It won't do you any favors musically long term. It just won't. Another suggestion is go to Texas Blues Alley. Dude's probably the best Stevie Ray coach out there. Greg Koch as well. He's got an instructional video on that style. And he's arguably the best player in the world for many different genres. So depends how advanced you are as well. Have I ever tried the Variax guitar? I haven't. I've seen them around. I don't know if it was just the concept of it was a bit weird for me, but I know guys that swear by them, and they say they play well as well. I've just never had a chance to really, I guess, play a lefty. I've seen him around, just never picked him up. I think I hold the pick with my thumb and middle finger. After 22 years, I realize this is not how everyone does it. Is it worth relearning the correct way, or do what comes naturally? Don't stress about the way you play. You think Hendrix was thinking about that kind of stuff? He just played with his thumb over, he was playing with his thumb over the neck, and he's playing bass parts with his doing weird chords, and who cares? Just play whatever way you play. I do exactly the same thing. I hold the pick like this, and I play that way. I don't hold it like everyone else does this way. I just don't either. So don't stress about it. Play the way that works for you. A good example of this sort of stuff too is Mark Knopfler, when he talks about how he learned how to, finger pick. He was doing that like, you probably can't hear that, but he's going like 1, 4, 5. 1 or 6, 4, 5, 3, that sort of thumb picking thing. And then he'd mix it up and do something that wasn't from the book. So he was breaking the rules, but it worked for him, so he didn't seem to care. So just play with the way that works for you. That's my suggestion. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left. Let me take some more questions here. Shame with the lefties, not as painful. Did you ever try playing righty? I've picked up 100 or more right-handed guitars, and everything about it feels wrong. I always say this to people, if they've got kids and they ask me, oh, my kid wants to play guitar. I'm like, which hand does he air guitar with? Buy a guitar that goes that way. I always air guitar this way. So that's the way that I play guitar. I don't think of it being any different to picking up a pen and writing your name. I know guys like Mark Knopfler is the best example of this. He's a left-hander, and he plays righty. Might have helped with his style to some extent. If you're just starting, then you could probably learn it. But I have more dexterity in this hand. I have more fine motor skills in this hand than this hand. This hand's good at like crushing things and throwing stuff. This hand's really good at like, if I was to put like a thread of needle or something, which is something I don't do very often, but if a button falls off an old shirt, I'll be like, this hand's got all those kind of skills. Maybe all the years of playing video games or something too, I don't know. This hand's just got more dexterity and coordination. Like, I can tap my fingers quicker. I can't tap my fingers on this hand very quick, which is weird because I'm left-handed, but they always say your dominant side is usually your strong side. Your non-dominant side is usually your finesse side with things. So it makes sense for me. I think I played the right way around that suited my style. All right, that is a good question. I got asked. Oh, actually, sorry. I'll go in order here. I've just seen a lot of things just come up here. Hello, mate. Any idea about electric guitars? I've seen them as well. I think they're an inexpensive brand, from what I remember. Let me just look them up. Electa guitars. I think I see these a lot in like used shops. Like, there's a really good, if you type in electric guitars on Google, it comes up with a forum. It's one of the top links. It looks like there's a discussion there, but made in China. Well, there's no photos on this website I just looked at. Let me try this. I'm sure I know, I definitely know that. I've just seen the logo. I've seen that a million times. So these pop up a lot, these guitars. I don't know enough about them to give you an informed opinion. Yeah, I'd say they're probably comparable to a Samick, like maybe something like those Greg Bennett ones, something like that. They might be slightly better, they might not be. I don't know enough just yet, but good topic for discussion at some point. I'll look into it. All right. Let's go back to here. Conan says, thanks, Shane. I admire your honesty and your reviews. Guitar Search Saturdays are fun and funny. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. That series is pretty cool. I actually got a message from the guys at Haight Ashbury Music Center from San Francisco. The guy loved the video. He was away for a few days, didn't get a chance to see it until this morning, and he was wrapped. So the guys from the one prior in San Francisco as well, Rare Guitars. Is it Rare Guitars? It's called? Yeah. No, Real Guitars. Killer. He loved it. He commented a lot on a lot of people's questions and posts and all that kind of thing as well. It was awesome. So thanks. That's the idea. I like doing stuff that's just a bit different, and not all of it's good, but Guitar Search Saturday has been a lot of fun. I think once I get to episode 20, which will be probably in 2 more episodes, I think I'm up to 18 right now. I'll take a break, give it a month off, and then see if we can kick it back in. So I enjoy doing those videos. I learn a lot looking at stuff as well, and there's so many things I know about now that I didn't know about before. Like starting that series, I was like, man, I don't know enough about gear, right? I know way too much about gear, but not everything. And there was a lot of stuff I'm like, what even is this guitar? And I'd look it up and be like, oh, okay, so they're made there. I had no idea about any of this. So there's just so much stuff out there. All right, Balila says, have you tried bias effects? I'm a bedroom player and playing in a Valve amp just gets me problems with my neighbors, volume, etc. Okay, so yes, I was one of the first guys to demo the bias effect software. I think yeah, I've done that. 2 things. If you're just using the one that you can just plug straight into and listen back live, that's one thing. That's fine. If you're trying to record with it though, I find it like glitchy, and this is just my experience with it. If you're just sitting there playing, like what Pixie Licks does, for example, it's awesome. But when you start having to send it through a track to be able to record it and listen to it and all that type of stuff in real time, it really requires a bit of technical know-how, which some people might not like that about it. You might almost be better just buying like a headphone amp and listening to, those things, those Vox things or whatever you can plug into your guitar and just use headphones. That would almost be a better option if you find something like the sound of. But some of that actual modeling stuff sounds great. Like I went over to Steve's house, Pixie Licks, and I got a chance to jam with him through his rig. That video's up on his channel, by the way. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. He sort of inspired me to get my act together in this room to do that more. And right before I went overseas, I thought I had the whole setup nailed, and I tried it once on YouTube, and there was this buzz under everything, so I couldn't quite get it right. But that stuff can be fiddly, but if you get it right, it sounds great. It really does sound fine. All right, what's the best place in the world in terms of guitar shops? Oh, man. I don't know. This is one of those questions that comes down to what do you like the best. So for me, being a left-handed guitar player, Jerry's Lefty Guitars is like my absolute favorite. And that actually was one of the questions I got earlier. How did I start with Jerry? I was in Florida for 8 weeks at one point, and I had a lot of time to kill. So I looked up some shops, and I saw, hey, Jerry's Lefty Guitars is in Florida. I didn't realize he's only like 3 hours away from where I was. So I thought, you know what, I'll send this guy an email, introduce myself, and just say, look, this is what I do. Do you want me to come down and shoot some videos? And not that did he want to do it. I was just like, I don't even know if he knows who I am or anything. I don't think he did at that point. I could be wrong, but he might have seen some videos or something. But yeah, I just sort of said to him, look, I don't want any payment. I just want to turn up, check out your shop, and I'll shoot you some videos and see how we go. And we became good friends. So this last trip I had with him was awesome. And I'll be back there again because it works out for both of us. So it's a lot of fun. I love it. I like also going into buy, swap, and sell guitar shops. I think that's where some of the stuff you'd never expect to see turns up. And that's where you can always get a really good bargain as well. I think used guitar shops are highly underrated. Check them out. Wherever you live in the world, there's bound to be one somewhere. This is from Luca. He says, Shane, have you ever tried Japanese Navigator guitars, high-end ESP brand? Recently I got my hands on one and I like the quality of the build, especially the neck and fretwork is simply outstanding. I haven't tried that. All right. I have a strap with fat 50s and a Vox AC15. The bridge pickup is ear-piercingly bright. Is that normal or is there something wrong? The reason I'm laughing, I had exactly your setup. I don't like fat 50s at all. I thought I loved them until I played them live and I went, wow, these are so bright. They're like way too bright. Put anything else in there. Just get a set of Jimmy Vaughan Tex-Mex for $100 or any other set of pickups to take that away, man. I reckon the only other set that's going to give you a lot of tops, but will give you a much better sound overall, the Texas Specials will do the same thing. I found them way better on the neck and middle combinations and bridge and middle combinations than the Fat 50s. But the bridge pickup's kind of still bright, but it's got a better sound. The Fat 50s are nasty bright. I don't like them, and I've owned them. It's a shame, but I think the sound you might be going for is either you might want to check out some more modern pickups like 60s stuff onwards, or even go for the vintage underwound pickups. They're not as nasty sounding as especially that exact problem. I think your exact rig, that was my rig, Fat 50s and a Vox AC15 and an AC30. I know your pain, man. All right. Robert says he's off to work. Great stream. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I think I'm going to have to make a move soon too. Let me just check how we're doing for time, because I haven't even eaten it yet. So let's bring this back up. All right, 1 hour, 1 minute and 3. So I'll take one more question and then we might be done. So bring the chat back up. Man, this computer's doing weird stuff. It's the operator. Hey Shane, there's 2 amps I want to buy to replace my main amp because it's really road worn and beginning to break down. Do I get a 90s hot US hot rod for 400 pounds or euros, or a deluxe 112 plus for 125? Man, I tell you what, those deluxe plus amps are awesome. They're really good. If you play pedals, you're gonna love it. I almost think they're like, it's probably no surprise if I put together the 5 best solid state amps on the planet video, that'll be in there. I think it's an amazing amp. Is it better than a Hot Rod Deluxe on the clean? Probably not, but you're saving a fortune, judging by what you've just given me in euros. I always get euros and the pound sign confused. So if that's the pound sign, I apologize. I don't often see either of them. So it would just come down to what you think you're going to like more. If you're a traditional tube amp guy, or if you just want something that works well and sounds good, Deluxe Plus is going to be a killer. So both are great. Both are really good. This brought me back to the law of diminishing returns thing that I spoke about a while ago. When I was in San Fran, I had a $300 rig, a $70 amp, $100 guitar, and a pedal. Oh, the pedal was worth more than both that stuff, but essentially that was the rig, and it was so good. Like, if you're worried about what other people think of you, go for the Hot Rod Deluxe. If you're not, who cares? Just get the Deluxe Plus. I think they're great amps. They're kind of like the Bandit in many ways. All right, so Burning Telly says, what am I doing to avoid hair loss? Nothing. You just got to own it, man. Don't get suckered into all the crap that you can do that won't work long term. Just be yourself and be happy and confident. That's all I'm going to say. What do I think about hair tattoos? These are some interesting questions. These are completely off topic. Look, when I was in my 20s, I thought like losing hair was like a huge deal. Now I don't care. I'm maybe kind of lucky, like my head shape isn't that bad. I can kind of get away with it. I don't really care. Some of my best friends have way less hair than me. People that I admire, some of them are completely bald. I mean, this dude's out there that suits really well, so I couldn't care less. Just be yourself, man. Own it. Worst thing you can do if you're losing your hair, doing the comb over or hiding it. Just shave it off and you'll feel like $1,000,000. All right. Hi, Shane. Will you be coming to Sydney soon? I don't get to Sydney much. I really don't get there much, unfortunately. I used to get there a bit for work back in the day, but I don't really go to Sydney much for any reason. Probably because it's expensive. A hotel in Sydney is like $300. Isaac says, do you think routing an Epiphone Sheridan 335 for a Strat tremolo is a sensible idea? I don't know, man. It's probably a bit weird. I don't know if you can do that. Maybe if you're good with that kind of stuff, but just get a Strat, man, if that's what you're trying to do. Yeah, Isaac says, yes, Shane, except don't be Steven Seagal. Absolutely. He's like, I don't know what that guy puts in his head, man. But anyway, all right, guys, so we're over the hour. I'm gonna hit the road. But thanks for hanging around. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. It is totally cool either way. Appreciate everyone hanging out with me tonight. I know this is a different time for the live stream, but I thought I'd get in and do something a little different and also just let you know what's going on with the channel. So as I mentioned, for those who joined a bit later, who missed the start after our false start, or 2 false starts or whatever, basically channel's changed, as you can tell. Channel's growing ridiculously huge this last week. It's been awesome in every aspect. So things have picked up finally, and I know why it wasn't working as, what's the best way of putting it? It was doing well, but now it's doing great. And I want to continue the trend with it doing great, which means following what works, but doing videos that I would want to watch at the same time. And I think these new videos are more enjoyable to watch than just product stuff. That's the plan. So yeah, for all those who are staying on for the ride, I appreciate that. And yeah, things are gonna get pretty interesting pretty soon. I think we'll get to 100,000 pretty quick if the trend continues, but one step at a time. And you know, the benchmarks with the subs doesn't really matter too much. I'm more sort of into, you know, what channel's reach is, how many people are chatting about things that I post. I really like getting feedback from people as opposed to just showing you, here's another thing. Yep, go check it out. Great. So over it. I'd rather have stuff like this where we can discuss stuff, I can take questions, and then if I post a video that gives you some sort of subjective content, you can at least put your opinion down. I respect everybody's opinion on gear. I also respect, you know, and vice versa, hopefully. So these are the kind of topics that I think make the community awesome. So it's great. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get going. So thanks again. And if I missed any questions, this video will be cached or uploaded to YouTube once it's processed. And you can leave a question on there and I'll answer it at some point. Maybe tomorrow I'll get back to it because I've got a few things I've got to do tonight. So thanks again, guys.